want to just
Andy's.
we just wanted to head over to Andy's acoustic kind of little setup here.
His really complicated.
Right? Yeah, it's crazy. It's it takes a lot.
Take a while to explain this one.
It does. So this actually is his basic setup, if you couldn't tell. He just has the LR bags, DI, the pair acoustic DI. It's great. Has a ton of options to do a ton of things on it as far as like EQ, phase, all that kind of stuff. And then this red pitch black tuner, very important. And then this little mini pedal board you can see that it's all mounted onto. When we were in Mexico, a friend of ours named Danny owns a pedal board company called Bonanza, custom Bonanza pedal boards. And so he built that for us while we were just down in Mexico.
In like a day.
Yeah,
Awesome.
he just pumped it out. So that's really nice for him to kind of have everything put together on one little board.
Yeah, he was using like a pt2 before.
Yeah, with a couple pedals on it, so it was funny.
Yeah.
And then the guitar he's playing is the Gibson Songwriter Deluxe. This one is slightly older than the ones you'll see now. These were made in Montana, at the factory in Montana. They use like the nicer pickguard than they do now. This thing is toured, I don't know, 8 years maybe.
Jeez.
Maybe 6 years. And we've had a hard case. It's flown everywhere around the world, and it's a great sounding guitar. It sounds great plugged in. It sounds great in the studio.
Plays great too, yeah.
Plays great. Just a road-worthy acoustic, which that's the scariest thing about acoustics, is finding something that's really road-worthy that can take flights. And I mean, this thing is it's
crazy
definitely
temperature changes.
Yeah, for sure, and rock and roll and stuff like that. So that's it's Andy's acoustic that he brings with him.
Sweet. Move on to my
And then let's move on to Jonathan's rig.
tiny rig over here. I've got just my Fender Strat. I think it's a 2000 just Fender American Strat standard with a rosewood neck. It's got I think just the standard 2 pickups that come in it, and then I installed an Yngwie Malmsteen single coil, which is the hottest single coil I've ever used.
Which is good for rock and roll.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, so I can use this thing for worship, like the church services that we do, and then like tonight we're gonna play a rock show, and does the high gain
anyone
stuff.
that's skeptical about like he was saying, kind of more of like a high gain scenario with like these single coils, because I am very skeptical with that pickup. I mean, it does it. It gets in there for sure. So
because he does like crazy metal,
who does
super high gain Yngwie.
Oh, okay.
The guy that it's modeled, or
Cool.
it's like supposed to be his signature pickup. And it does the job pretty good. And then I've just got a Metro 16 pedal train, which is like their new series of super tiny boards.
Yeah.
I wanted to get a tiny one so I wasn't wasting all of my money.
Yeah, good choice.
And because I know if I had enough space, I would just want more and more pedals.
Yep.
I would have something like Aaron has. But I've got my guitar going straight into the JHS Color Box, which is the same company as Aaron's Pulp and Peel. And this is my main tone. It's supposed to be like a channel from a Neve console that like the Beatles used to record on, and they would just plug straight into. And it can be used with anything from EQ. It's got a 3-band. It's got a high-pass filter, and then it's got different gain stages that you can use. Mm-hmm. And so like on the lowest one, you can do really clean stuff, and then you can crank it up and do crazy distorted, like the Beatles Revolution song. I think the intro uses the same thing, and it gets really fuzzy, but it's a really unique kind of tone. And then I've got the JHS Angry Charlie, which is another by the same company, and it's just basically a dirt box. And whenever we do rock stuff, depending on the venue and how it sounds, I'll kick this thing on, and it's really good for octaves too. Like I'll do octaves when we're doing worship stuff and kick it on just for those, and it kind of helps it punch through that. Yeah, it's really good. And then I've got a Mantic Proverb, which is kind of a smaller company. They hand make all their stuff, and I like this rugged look next to all of my pristine, clean pedals. But it's a really good natural reverb, and it fattens everything up, so I can just kind of leave it on whenever doing worship stuff. And then that's running into the Eventide H9. And this one I just kind of use for all of my crazy extra sounds that I don't really need all the time, but then they're really unique, and I can like kick on their black hole, and it'll just go forever and have this like crazy
kind of shimmery,
fluctuating, crazy thing. And then I've got a 3-switch kind of extension for it, which just goes into the external jack, and they're MIDI controllable, so you can, like I have this on bank down and bank up and then tuner. So this can stay open for tap, and this is for active, instead of having to go back and forth and do different combinations with the
great.
2 switches. But that thing's really great, and so I can do so much with these 4 pedals that...
Less is more, I love it.
Yeah, really, and it fits into a tiny case, and I can take it as a carry-on on a plane. I'm running, I have the disaster area patch cables. They're like the smallest patch cables I've ever seen.
Oh, those are tiny.
Which I needed to be able to fit in there and to fit all these on there. I don't think I would have been able to do it with the tightrope. But so that's my kind of setup. And then I'm running through an orange Tiny Terror, which is Andy's, that he's kind of letting me use since he's just doing acoustic right now, and I'm doing most of the rhythm parts. This thing has surprised me. I was kind of had low expectations for it because it's kind of one of their cheaper ones, but it packs a punch. It'll do anything I've wanted it to do, even just by itself. Going straight in sounds great. And I believe this is a Marshall cab.
Yeah, 1936.
It doesn't really have anything written on it, so I wasn't
apparently,
sure.
apparently, when the guy I bought it from said that it was on an episode of Grimm. So anyone that watches Grimm, it's kind of filmed here in Portland or whatever. And he said this was on an episode of Grimm. Not that I care at all what episode of anything it's been on. It was just really cheap.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
that's all I care about. But yeah, that's kind of I just brought my guitar and pedal board from Nashville, and they kind of set me up with everything else. And then we've got Doug's rig over here. This is a simple bass setup. I mean, you don't really need anything complicated for bass unless you're doing crazy fuzz. But we've got tuner, just like everybody else, and then the JHS Limeade, which is a bass compressor, which really makes the tone punch through, and it sounds really good. And then he's got a Sans amp, bass driver DI, which I didn't really know anything about, but it definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, greatest bass DI I've ever experienced. Yeah. Honestly, I mean, it's like very industry standard, and they sound great live, and even for the studio, it sounds great.
Yeah, and it's got a 1/4-inch output and XLR, which is handy to have. And he's got a Fender Precision, I believe.
Yep, it's a Fender P-Bass, American.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it sounds great. It has a great sustain. It's a Fender P-Bass. Simple as that.
And some of our other guitars we've got over here is a Veritas that was like, I think one of their first ones.
Yeah,
that,
first, second, third, one of the 3.
That they made for Andy, just kind of like as a test guitar, I think. And he's kind of beaten it up over the years a little bit.
Yeah.
But great guitar. It's sturdy. It's pretty heavy.
Yeah, he had it built as basic as possible. Volume.
Yeah. The most basic I've ever seen.
Pickup. User coil tap. That's it.
What more do you need? That's it. And then we've got a SG that Andy's brother-in-law kind of fixed up. He said found it kind of beaten up, and the finish had worn off. I think it was a faded one anyway, but like resanded it and finished it, put a tortoise shell on, and I think he said it's Pearly Gates.
Yeah.
Is the one humbucker, and then I don't remember the other one.
Sure.
But they sound great, and it's been a really nice guitar to have. I use it for the rock stuff sometimes, and it's super light. I can just jump around the entire time and not even know it's there. Yeah. So those are our guitars.
And the headstock is actually not broken on that. Normally they are.
Right. Yeah. And then we've got Doug's
The
gigantic.
bass, just good old Ampeg 810, and the SWR SM900. It literally has every option in the world that you could possibly do for EQ and stuff. It's just a workhorse. It sounds loud and good. So, yeah, that's it for bass.
Yeah. And that's our gear, guys. Thanks for stopping by. You can subscribe on our YouTube, follow us on Facebook, whatever your fancy is, and we'll be posting some more gear videos. Let us know what you'd like to see, and we'll try to make them for you. Thanks. Have a good one.